We are Asket. Today, I would like to speak with you about some occurrences on the planet which have alerted us that you are in need of some extra help in the form of some direction, and you are going towards a future line without the awareness that you can be made aware of with just a few pointers. A future which could harbor some disastrous consequences. We of the League of Light love you and your planet. We don't want to see any harm come to the greater part of your population, or of the planet herself, for she is a conscious being. She is alive, and she's becoming more aware of what steps she needs to take in order to preserve the life that she sustains. And this is her right as a sentient being. The biosphere of your planet is of one consciousness. It is fractured in a way that is somewhat like your own individual experiences. Have you not felt at times of great distress a fracturing of your ability to integrate yourself? A fracturing of your vision of what is really happening when you are faced with the unreality of a situation that can come crashing into your consciousness. Do you not become more aware that you have somehow split yourself into various components, and that perhaps the time has come to integrate? Many of you have taken healing steps towards this kind of integration. You have brought yourselves together. It is true that over time, over lifetimes, and the eons in which humankind has suffered and experienced many of the kinds of conditions that could fracture a mind, that you have become more and more dissolved as a unitary organism. Parts of you have split off, and in your own experience, can you not see that this has happened to you in your own history? Now, the question is, how can you bring about an integration of the parts of a wholeness that have splintered? How can you bring yourself into a point of wholeness in which the shattered parts of your own consciousness come into a singular being? Because, dear ones, when each of you does this, you will find that each of you fit together within a whole unitary consciousness that does make up life, human life, and a collective of consciousness upon the planet. Those of you who feel yourselves to be visitors here, merely waiting for something to happen to prove to you that you are indeed not of this place, you too can experience an integration of your human experience, because you find that you are on the earth right now, and there is something for your soul to be benefited by in this experience, for you to take home with you. Breathe together, dear ones, in the knowledge that each of you is finding an integration. There are many ways of finding this kind of coming together within oneself. Trauma is one way that things can be blasted apart, and sometimes revisiting that trauma can make you aware and reverse the energy of the explosion of self into a reintegration. This is one way. It is an effective way, but it is not perhaps the most pleasant. If you have no fear of finding yourself as a whole being, then you shall find there is no fear in approaching these broken parts of you, no matter how it is presented to yourself. Remember, we are part of humanity. And once your integration is underway as a people, your integration as a galactic humanity can begin in earnest. When you come to the awareness that your splintering has brought you into a separateness from each other, and that this is but an illusion, perhaps you see that you're looking into a mirror and seeing something completely unfamiliar to yourself. Relax. What you're seeing is a fragment. Your soul knows who you are. And when you remember this, when you can attune yourself to the fact that there is some part of you that is already whole, more whole than you can comprehend as an embodiment upon the earth. Your soul knows who you are, and your soul has the blueprint intact. Tune into this, dear ones. Allow the broken parts of yourself to come together in accordance to what your soul has logged in the memory banks of the universal intelligence from which you come. We, as human beings, understand this as a way of integrating with a divinity that surpasses the limitations of thought that have taken shape as the various religions and spiritual paths that you have found to follow and to create in order to find some semblance of meaning within the fractured experience upon the earth. Know now that this experience is integrating, brokenness is becoming discarded in a way. There are pieces that no longer fit as the earth finds itself morphing into a dimensional space that requires not only an integration but a reevaluation of how things fit together. And thus there is inevitable experience of what is perceived as loss and as a letting go. The harder you remain attached to what has been, the more difficult it may be for you to shift into a new dimensional space. But dear ones, the earth is indeed shifting in ways that require you to confront the idea of letting go, the potential for loss of aspects of self which are finding form in things around you that may be familiar, that may be comfortable, that may be what you consider to be part of your reality. But in truth, reality is shifting, and some parts of it will be dissolving, restructuring, redefining themselves. This is nature of change, and change is the nature of matter. It is merely a modulation in the frequency of light that creates form. There is a fluidity in this experience. So we encourage you to attune to this generation of consciousness that is your soul, to know that there is a network of divinity within the light forms that you are, and that you are transforming inevitably into a new earth, into a new humanity, to allow this definition of self to follow its path to the inevitability of a transformation that will enliven the planet and give a new hope to humanity as a whole. We are with you in this process, dear ones. Know that you are not alone, and know that you have the guidance and the help of countless beings who love you and wish for you the beauty and the grace of wholeness rediscovered. In peace, we leave you now with these thoughts. I am Asket of the League of Light, and I wish you peaceful tomorrows.